Have you ever made a decision in the heat of the moment, only to regret it later? You're not alone. Emotional decisions often feel right at the time, but they rarely serve our long-term goals. Whether you're managing your personal life, finances, or a business, emotions can be the silent saboteur of success. Why? Because emotions are reactive. They focus on the present moment, often leading us to make hasty choices that aren't aligned with the bigger picture. Take a step back and ask yourself, how often have you made decisions based on fear, anger, or excitement, only to realize later that you strayed from your original plan? In this series, I'm going to show you why emotional decisions can derail your progress and, more importantly, how to stick to a strategy that works. We'll dive into practical steps for identifying emotional triggers, building a solid strategy, and developing the discipline to see it through. When we learn to keep emotions in check and stick to our strategy, we unlock a whole new level of success. So let's start with understanding why it's critical to avoid making decisions based on how we feel in the moment, and instead focus on staying true to the bigger picture. Stress and anxiety are powerful emotions that can heavily influence our decision-making process. When we're stressed, our brains go into survival mode, pushing us to make decisions quickly, often without considering long-term outcomes. Think about the last time you made a decision while feeling anxious. Did it align with your bigger goals? More often than not, stress causes us to focus on short-term relief rather than long-term success. To combat this, it's essential to recognize when stress is taking over. When you feel pressured or anxious, take a step back. Breathe. Focus on the facts, not the feelings. This is where sticking to a predefined strategy helps. Having a strategy allows you to rely on logic, even when emotions try to pull you in different directions. The next time you feel anxiety creeping in, pause and remember, decisions made in a calm, collected state are usually far better aligned with long-term goals. Now that we've talked about the dangers of emotional decision-making, let's focus on building a solid strategy. A good strategy is your roadmap, guiding you through tough decisions when emotions run high. But how do you create a strategy that's strong enough to stick to? First, define your long-term goals. Where do you want to be in 1 year, 5 years, or even 10 years? With a clear vision in mind, you can create a step-by-step plan that outlines how to get there. The more specific your strategy, the easier it is to follow when you're tempted to stray. Second, anticipate obstacles. No plan is perfect, and challenges will arise. But by preparing for them ahead of time, you reduce the likelihood of making emotional, spur-of-the-moment decisions. Finally, remember to stay flexible. A strategy is not set in stone. It can evolve, but any adjustments should be well thought out and based on logic, not emotion. By having a strong, adaptable strategy, you can keep moving forward even when emotions are pushing you off course. Emotional resilience is the ability to bounce back quickly from stress, setbacks, and emotional triggers. The stronger your emotional resilience, the easier it is to stay committed to your strategy. One way to build resilience is by practicing mindfulness. This involves being aware of your emotions without reacting to them immediately. When you notice anger or frustration bubbling up, pause. Take a deep breath. Reflect on the situation before taking action. Another tool is emotional detachment. This doesn't mean you stop caring, but it does mean you learn to separate your emotions from your decision-making process. When you feel an emotional reaction, ask yourself, is this helping me make a rational choice? If not, set the emotion aside and refocus on your strategy. Resilience takes time to develop, but the more you practice, the better equipped you'll be to handle emotional triggers and keep your focus on the bigger picture. Self-discipline is the muscle that keeps your strategy intact, especially when emotions try to pull you off track. But self-discipline isn't about denying your feelings. It's about controlling how they influence your actions. In the moment, it can be tough to resist emotional impulses. That's why self-discipline is something you build over time. Start by making small, daily decisions that align with your long-term goals. Each time you make a disciplined choice, you strengthen your ability to stay focused when bigger challenges come your way. Another trick is to create mental cues. When you feel emotions flaring up, remind yourself of your strategy. Have a mantra or phrase that you repeat to center yourself. Something simple like stick to the plan can help snap you back into logical decision-making mode. With consistent practice, self-discipline becomes second nature. And once it does, you'll find it much easier to stay on course, even when emotions try to take control. Patience is one of the most underrated qualities in decision-making. In a world that's always pushing for quick results, patience can feel like a weakness, but it's actually a superpower when it comes to sticking to your strategy. The truth is, most successful strategies don't yield instant results. Whether it's growing a business, making an investment, or personal development, progress takes time. Impatience often leads us to make rash, emotional decisions that undermine the very strategy we've worked so hard to build. So, how do you cultivate patience? Start by embracing the idea that slow progress is still progress. Every small step you take toward your goal is a win. Next, avoid comparing yourself to others. Your journey is unique, and comparing your progress to someone else's can trigger emotional reactions that tempt you to deviate from your strategy. Remember, patience is a choice. It's about trusting the process and staying committed to the bigger picture, even when results take time. Patience is one of the most underrated qualities in decision-making. In a world that's always pushing for quick results, patience can feel like a weakness, but it's actually a superpower when it comes to sticking to your strategy. The truth is, most successful strategies don't yield instant results. Whether it's growing a business, making an investment, or personal development, progress takes time. Impatience often leads us to make rash, emotional decisions that undermine the very strategy we've worked so hard to build. So, how do you cultivate patience? Start by embracing the idea that slow progress is still progress. Every small step you take toward your goal is a win. Next, avoid comparing yourself to others. Your journey is unique, and comparing your progress to someone else's can trigger emotional reactions that tempt you to deviate from your strategy. Remember, patience is a choice. It's about trusting the process and staying committed to the bigger picture, even when results take time. Accountability is crucial for sticking to any strategy. Without it, it's too easy to let emotions dictate your decisions and stray from your plan. So, how do you stay accountable? First, track your progress. Whether you use a journal, an app, or a spreadsheet, documenting your decisions helps you see whether you're sticking to your strategy or letting emotions take over. Regularly reviewing your progress keeps you on track. Second, consider finding an accountability partner. This could be a friend, a mentor, or even a colleague, someone who can provide feedback and remind you of your long-term goals when emotions are pulling you in different directions. Finally, set milestones and rewards. Reaching key points in your strategy should be celebrated, but only reward yourself when you've achieved these milestones, not when emotions tell you it's time to celebrate. Making mistakes is inevitable, but what separates successful people from the rest is how they respond to mistakes. Do they let emotions take over, leading to more impulsive decisions? Or do they learn from the experience and adjust their strategy? The key is to remove emotion from the equation. When you make a mistake, don't let guilt, frustration, or fear control your next move. Instead, analyze what went wrong, why it happened, and how you can improve moving forward. Every mistake is an opportunity to refine your strategy. By embracing mistakes as learning experiences, you become less reactive and more proactive. This mindset shift allows you to stay calm and focused, even when things don't go as planned. Long-term thinking is the ultimate antidote to emotional decision-making. When you focus on the big picture, you're less likely to be swayed by short-term emotions. One way to cultivate long-term thinking is by setting clear, long-term goals. These goals act as a compass, guiding you through emotional moments. When emotions flare up, remind yourself of the end goal. Does this decision bring you closer to that goal, or is it just a reaction to a temporary feeling? Another strategy is to visualize the consequences of your actions. Ask yourself, how will this decision impact me a year from now? By thinking beyond the present, you'll find it easier to resist emotional impulses and stay aligned with your strategy. In the end, mastering long-term thinking is about commitment. It's about staying true to your goals, no matter how you feel in the moment.